Hello, everybody. This is WMSC 90.3 Upper Montclair, and this is Lifting the Trophy, the best sports talk show in the world, with your host, Connor Naspo. A lot of stuff has happened. I missed last week because there was a sports game, so I wasn't able to do the show, but it's fine because it gives me more to talk about this week, right? I have a lot to get to. The search for the Giants. The coaching search is beginning. I've talked about Black Monday with the NFL. Talk about Tyler Kolek, Minnie Brunson, and then also the non-tanking ideas that have been pitched by the NBA. Then moving on to the Red Bulls, we have how one of the players left another team on red when they verbally agreed to go there. I'm excited to talk about that. Moving to the Devils, there's a kind of a controversial thing that happened last night about booing one of the players, so I'll get to that. And then the Yankees, I will talk about. Honestly, the lack of anything that the Yankees are doing right now, because they're just dead in the water right now. But we're going to the Giants. Starting off with the Giants. Yesterday, they beat the Cowboys. It felt so good watching that game. It felt like what the Giants could be if everything actually worked. You know, like the entire season where we were so used to mediocrity and everyone getting injured and we were just getting smoked every single game. But we finally saw what the Giants could be like if we really have all of our players, have our good coaching, have just the grit and the determination to win. That was a big thing that I saw yesterday. If you guys don't know, we beat the Cowboys 34-17. The week before that, we beat the Raiders 34-10. Man, we're 34 points 2 weeks in a row. That's pretty good. Granted, the Raiders are god-awful. God-awful. Because if you guys don't know, the regular season's over. Regular season is done for NFL football. We're moving on to the postseason, which starts on Saturday. I'll get to all the brackets and all the coaches that were fired in a few minutes so when I turn to my NFL topics. But right now we're sticking with the Giants. It was a good game all around by the Giants. You know, I saw them just having fun. Like, it was like a little bit of this, a little bit of that kind of game. You know, they did like a flea flicker at one point. They had Gunnar Olszewski like just throwing he missed Darius Slayton, but like they did like a little like random play. It was like Jackson Dart moved over a slot to so Gunner in the QB slot, and then it was like a false QB sneak run play to like a sweep behind, and Gunnar Olszewski like snapped it and folded out right and missed Darius Slayton. Oh my God, he was wide open. That would have been a touchdown. That would have been what, 41, right? What's 34 plus 7? Yeah, 41 to 17. That would have been great. Would have loved to look at that. That would have made me feel great. But yeah, it was a good game. You know, we saw a lot. We saw Jackson Dart really coming out. You know, he really played good yesterday. I felt really confident with the way he played. He was 22 for 32, 230 passing yards, no interceptions, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Granted, he didn't have any passing touchdowns, but we rushed them all in. I don't care. We still won the game. I don't care how it got done. We won. That's all that matters, you know. And for all those people out there who are saying, "Oh, we need the draft picks," stop. Why do you have to be such a Debbie Downer all the time, dude? Like, we are fans of a team. We should want to see them win. Yeah, I get it. Oh, we need the draft picks. You know, we need to start rebuilding our team. The team's been rebuilt. Like, I feel good going to next year. There's no ginormous gaps or holes in our offense or defense. I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, you know, we really need to get a player here. Like, there's no necessities I feel like a top pick requires, you know. I mean, granted, if we had the top pick, we would obviously, you know, trade it back to a team who really needs a quarterback or something, because Mendoza's going to go to the Raiders, and you have the guy from Oregon coming out, and I think that QB from Ohio State, I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter to me because we're not taking them. But I don't understand why people don't want to see their team win. It's as simple as that. Like, yeah, okay, we were losing. You're tanking. We get the first overall pick. It feels good. You want to see us with the first overall pick because it's going to lead to better things in the future. I don't care. I don't care. I want to see my team win. Every week I want to see my team go out there and win. I want to see them absolutely dominate the other team, which is what happened for 2 weeks in a row. And guess what? Everyone felt great. I don't see anyone over here moping around like, oh, damn, the Giants won. That stinks. No, everyone's high-fiving each other. Yeah, the Giants finally did something. I was seeing the movie yesterday, and like three people. I was wearing my Giants like jacket that my girlfriend got me, and three people came up to me and they're all like, "Oh, the Giants win today." I'm like, "Yeah, finally." Took us a whole season. I mean, honestly, where was that the entire season? Honestly, Giants like where was this playing the entire season? Because we played good, dude. Like we played good. I mean, what's his face? Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on the guy's name right now. Oh my god, the Tyrone Tracy. Jeez, sorry, Tyrone Tracy, 100-yard rushing game. I think he was what, like 104, 103 rushing yards. Yeah, so I mean, you had big plays all around. You had an interception by what's the dude's name? Oh my gosh, man, I can't. What might be on my other thing? Oh, Drew Phillips. Drew Phillips had an interception. I'm pretty sure he actually ended the year with 2 interceptions, which is pretty good. 2 interceptions on the year is pretty good. Because that's big. Turnovers are big. You only have a few every game, and so when you're able to cause them like that, and then have an immediate turnaround like an interception would cause, that's a great thing. We love seeing that. We love seeing that. So yeah, from there, I think, like I was saying, overall good performance by the Giants. Especially against the Raiders game too. I think we played good against the Raiders just because the Raiders were so bad. Like I think the Cowboys are obviously a bigger threat, a bigger challenge for us. Their secondary, we just abused their secondary because their secondary was horrible secondary. But I mean, I was really surprised. I thought our run game was going to be practically non-existent. I thought our run game was not going to be there at all. But we really dominated on the ground and in the air. It was really impressive because usually Dallas has a great run prevention defense. They do. They just have great run prevention defense, and I think that was going to be a weakness, and I feel like that's what we need to come out with in the beginning. I'm trying to establish both those fronts because whenever you start a football game, you want to establish your good running and your good passing because then the other team can't really be like, oh, yeah, they're just going to pass it every time, Like with the Eagles last year, you kind of knew they were going to abuse Saquon Barkley whenever they could. So other teams kind of tried to set up for the run defense. Obviously, it didn't work because they won the Super Bowl. Good for them. I don't really care about the Eagles, but I mean, good for them. So whenever you start a football game, you want to establish both those fronts, and we did immediately. I think that's what really changed the game for us. I think that was a big factor for us. Besides that, we just came out like dogs yesterday, man. We were just dogs on the field. We were pancaking people, everyone. Oh, it was great. We had everyone putting in their little 2 cents there. I mean, listen, the Cowboys did kind of give up after halftime. They put in that other dude who threw an interception and didn't do much. I mean, the Cowboys, they played bad yesterday. Like that was not the Cowboys I always saw earlier in the year, where it was just a shootout between Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott. I remember that game was like 44-47, like something crazy like that. I was in my dorm watching that, and I was going crazy. I remember when the Malik Neighbors caught that touchdown pass by Russell Wilson, like the last, 2 minutes. Dude, I was jumping up and down. I was ecstatic. Look at that. I'm using a big word. Ecstatic. But yeah, that was great. And I think if we ended off the season on a high note, that's important. That's definitely important because now you're going into the offseason. All right, we're feeling good. Feeling like next season we could do it. We can become a playoff contenders. We could really push for a good season, which obviously they try and do every year. But I feel like next year it's possible. Next year we can make it happen. And we get Malik Neighbors back, Cam Scadaboo back. We have the three, the Jackson Dart, the Cam Scadaboo, and the Malik Neighbors. And I think now, too, with Wan'Dale Robinson really showing up big time this year. He really showed up this year. He had 1,000+ receiving yards. That's insane. I mean, that's a good season, Like, I honestly think that's kind of a standard that we have to hold our players to. It's like, you have to get big numbers every game, or else you're going to get sat, and the next guy is going to come up. The only issue is we don't have another guy that's going to come up and do better than them. So I think that's also kind of going back to my first point where the draft comes in. I think, the Giants secured the 7th pick yesterday when they beat the Cowboys. We are picking 7th in the draft. Not good, not horrible. We're kind of like right-ish in the middle. No, we're not. Who am I kidding? We're in the beginning. We're early draft. What I meant to say, we're early draft. We're going to trade back to be like the middle-ish. Some team is going to come up. They're going to be like, yo, Here's this and that. We want an earlier draft pick. Come take this. Switch with us. We'll be like, all right, yeah, cool. Because there's not really anyone that's jarring out for us. Maybe a new wide receiver. I mean, if we have like a wide receiver that can, has a deep threat, who's good in like the deep area of the field. Because we have Malik Neighbors, who's kind of like in all three layers of the field good. We have Wan'Dale Robinson, who's very good in like the short intermediate games. So we need someone that Jackson Dart can target and can get his hands up there and catch it. No duh, that's what wide receivers are supposed to do. But the issue is, I think this year right now is Jackson Dart will be laying them in the basket for him, and they just drop it every time. Like Darius Slayton, of course, we signed him to a 4-year contract extension, but now he's dropping every ball. He's in a contract year and he's dropping everything. That's what you fear when you sign people to long contracts. When you're signing, I don't know, Malik Neighbors, right? When you sign him to his long contract, immediately you're like, all right, is this guy really gonna be all that, or is he gonna start getting comfortable? He's all that. He's that good. He's him. Speaking of free agents, now Wan'Dale Robinson is a free agent. I swear, Joe Shane, listen to me, big boy. Joe Shane, re-sign Wan'Dale Robinson. I swear, if you don't re-sign Wan'Dale Robinson, I'm going to throw a little hissy fit when I pick up this microphone next week. We should have re-signed him yesterday after the game immediately. Hand him a new contract. Here's a 4-year extension. Here's a 3-year extension. Stay with us, please. You're too good. That would be amazing. Imagine how versatile our wide receiver room is going to be if we pick up a wide receiver in this draft, which I think the Giants are going to do. I think it's going to be wide receiver, and I think it's going to be linebackers. I think that's what we got going for us. Or that's what we need. We have a good O-line. That's all we need. Give Jackson Dart that kind of time. Also, Jackson Dart's going to learn. He's going to learn a lot next season. I think this season taught him a lot, too. I mean, you saw him clearly progress throughout the season. You saw him get better, get worse, obviously. He ended off with a high note. He ended off great these last 2 games. But I feel like there's a lot more he's got to learn. He's nowhere near done. Nowhere near done learning. There's a lot, there's his scanning, sometimes he'll miss open reads, sometimes his footwork is bad, dropping back in the pocket, he's getting sacked sometimes because he's not doing like 3 steps back. He'll take like a step and a half and start scanning. It's like, no, you have to time it with your wide receivers. For all the people who don't really know football well, the QB, right, there's certain, obviously, ways that a QB will move back and the ways that the wide receivers will run their routes and whatnot. The QB has to time up his footwork to the wide receiver's routes. Let me explain. Right, Jackson Dart, let's just say it's a 3-step back, right? So, hike, he takes the ball 1, 2, 3 steps back. By the time he's on his 3rd step back, both receivers should be breaking in their routes and open for the catch. What usually happens, what I saw a lot with Jackson Dart, he'll take like a step back, what should be 3 steps back, and he throws the ball early, or he starts scrambling because he looks up too early, and then he's not far enough back to where his offensive line can give him enough time to throw a pass, because it's seconds. It's seconds of difference that is either a completion or a sack. Like if you have like 3 seconds in the pocket, that's good. You should get the ball out of your hands in like 3 seconds. More than that is a luxury. You have a good O-line if they give you really more than 3 seconds consistently. I think our O-line was decent. I think Jackson Dart got like 2 to 3 seconds most snaps. And I feel like he capsized on it. He had a good season. I have end of season stats here. He had 2,272 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's good. Those are good numbers. Those are good numbers. And, he was 219 for 339. I mean, that's not bad. That's it could be better. He was firing 63% completion rate, which is above half. You know what I mean? So it could be better, but it's not bad especially for a rookie like this where he didn't have his weapons. He didn't have weapons. He didn't have the pieces that he needed to really make those big plays a lot. And I feel like that's what hindered him for being a great quarterback. But what you saw potential though. Everyone saw it. Everyone saw potential. Last night, yeah, today's Monday. Last night, right, or middle of the day, because the game was at 1:00. There was a play where it was a broken play. He was scrambling. He broke a tackle, avoided a sack, and like underhand shovel toss past it to whoever it was that called the ball. And you know what that looked like to me? Patrick Mahomes. And listen, I'm not trying to idolize Patrick Mahomes here, but he's obviously an amazing quarterback. And if you have traits like that, that's a good sign. That's a good sign because Patrick Mahomes is really good at creating something out of nothing with broken plays, you know? And I think that's a really important quality for a quarterback to have. All right. Moving on to the coaching search. Oh, okay. So, the coaches that are going to be interviewed soon and that are kind of in the realm of possibilities for the Giants, we have Jeff Hafley, who's the Packers defensive coordinator. I'm probably going to say some of these names wrong, by the way, just so you know. But Jeff Hafley, Packers defensive coordinator. Lou Anarumo is the Colts defensive coordinator. Chris Shalato is the Rams defensive coordinator. Ryan Haribo is the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. That's iffy. I don't know if he's really going to leave the Ravens. John Gruden, he coached the Bucs to the Super Bowl. He currently works at Barstool and ESPN NFL analyst. Mike McCarthy, head coach for the Cowboys. He's good with quarterbacks and like their development. Also, too, he's an offensive head coach, which is really important. My personal favorite, I know not a popular one, Antonio Pierce. He's a former Raider head coach and Giants linebacker. He was the Giants defensive captain who helped them lead them to a Super Bowl against the Patriots. I think that's the man we should go to. Now, let me explain, all right? I'm sure the phone's going to start buzzing because people are mad that I'm having this hot take right now. Ooh, shocker. Antonio Pierce, right, is a Giant. He led them to a Super Bowl. He knows the organization. When you're in that locker room as a player, right, and your coach has been in your shoes, specifically your shoes as a Giant, you buy into that, you know? He's got the big blue blood in him. He wants this team to succeed so much, you know? And it's so clear. I mean, as a Giant, you know, he's a former Giant. Also, too, he has coaching experience, Raiders head coach. So he's not going to come into a blind because we can't have a rookie head coach here. We need someone who's got experience. I think that's a big factor, too. All right, we got a call coming in, so we're going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. And we are back to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is Lifting the Trophy with Connor Naspo. We currently have a caller on hold. If you guys would like to call in, the phone number is 973-655-4256. Again, I'll say it again, 973-655-4256. All right.
Hello?
Hello, caller?
Hi, this is Michael.
Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. So, hit me. What's your take here?
I had a question. It's a little bit off topic.
All right, a little off topic. All right, that's fine.
All right, I was just wondering what your opinion is on the Rangers winning the Winter Classic.
The Rangers winning the what?
The Winter Classic.
The Winter Classic. Well, I mean, I think right now it's got no effect on the team because they're not that good right now. Obviously, they're missing a couple players, but I mean, good for them winning the Winter Classic. I guess it's a big game. You know, those are always important for like morale in the season and whatnot. But I think what they got to do, they got to kind of keep the train moving. You know, they got to keep the momentum going for them.
What do you think about the hat trick?
The hat trick? I mean, that's always impressive. I definitely. I mean,
I feel like they're stepping up a little bit.
What? What'd you say?
Mika.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's always impressive. I didn't personally watch the game, so, I mean, it could have been like 3 tap-ins, but, I mean, a hat trick, regardless of the player, is always impressive, you know, especially in a big game like that when the lights are the brightest, knowing your player can perform. That's something you want to look out for players, and I think it's definitely a key quality of possibly a future of the franchise player right there, you know?
Right. So, but you think that they're not doing great?
I mean, listen, I'm not one to talk. I'm a Devils fan, so, like, we're not doing great either. But, I mean, the Rangers, I think, they're kind of in a plateau right now. I think they're going to get a little bit better. You know, I think they're going to kind of figure out their play style. They're definitely struggling a lot with their play style. I think that's their biggest weakness right now is just they look kind of lost a lot of the time, especially on their forecheck. They just don't have a forecheck, which is important in hockey, in my opinion. So I think they'll get better, but right now they're definitely plateauing.
I see. Did you see that Jack Hughes is dating Kate McRae?
Yes, I was actually going to talk about that later. About the guy who cheated on Tate McRae was on the Blue Jackets, who then Jack Hughes scored against.
Yeah, he has the verse. Yeah.
Dude, I think it's the funniest thing. I think it's the biggest irony. Like, yeah. Say something now. I got your girl and I got the win.
Wait, what do you think about Team USA's hockey team being announced?
Okay. I like that Jack Hughes is on it. I don't think that Matthews should be captaining it because he's just not that good this year. He's had a lackluster year, but I think there's some players who are questionable. What's that? Oh my gosh, I'm totally gonna blank on the one dude's name. But one of the extra players got added on recently. There's a lot of lines I think are just need time to figure themselves out. Because also a lot of new players joining. Like Jack Hughes did not perform well in the Four Nations Cup, but I think he's doing a lot better now, even with the injury. But I think he's gonna definitely be a highlight of the team in this upcoming Olympics.
Don't you think that I mean, looking at the Canadian team, don't you think they're gonna completely wipe out the American team?
No.
You don't think,
dude? No, we're not. Canadians are not gonna beat us. What are you nuts? Dude, their lineup's worse than ours. They have so many new players that gotta figure out what's going on. It's a completely different world than NHL hockey. I mean, these national games are so much tighter, so much faster, so much more physical, and they're just not gonna be used to it because they're not used to playing these games. The Canadian line is like new. It's weird. People gotta figure out their lines. When USA, in comparison, has had their lines figured out for a little while and have played together in the Four Nations Cup.
I mean, sticking on the topic about what we were talking about before, what is your opinion on the fact that NHL players are back in it, and they haven't been for a while?
I think it's important. I think getting the best. I think the point of the Olympics is the best people in your country playing the best people in other people's country. Listen, if the NHL players should be the best in the country, but I mean, listen, if there's some college superstar that you want to put on the team too, I guess you can if he's really the best. I think whoever's the best should represent your country. So I think if that's an NHL player, that they should be on.
All right, you know what? Yeah, fair enough. That's all I've got.
All right, thanks for calling in.
All right, thank you so much.
Bye. All right, so yeah, I know it took a little bit of a turn there to some hockey, but we'll get back to the NFL. We're talking about Antonio Pierce and how I think he should be the new Giants head coach. Like I was saying before, if you guys missed, Antonio Pierce was a former Giant, right? He led their team to the Super Bowl. He was a defensive captain, linebacker. I mean, I think when I think of an ideal identity for the Giants, I think if he's one of them up there. You know, he's got that smash mouth, in your face defensive football, which I think is what the Giants really are missing. We have our offensive weapons now. We have the long range assets. We have our run game secured. We just need stronger defense. Not stronger like, oh, it was bad this year, even though it was. I'm saying stronger like physical. I'm saying stronger like in your face. Like I'm saying get these guys, tackle them before they break line of scrimmage. Get behind the lines. Get in there. Smash these people in front of you. You know what I mean? Move them out the way. Like whatever you got to do, just get some grit back to this defense. I feel like he is the perfect coach to do that. You know, he's also not a rookie coach. He's coming in from the Raiders, who have not been good for a little while. We all know this. But still, he's not a rookie head coach, which is so important. It cannot be a rookie head coach coming into the Giants. We have way too much going for us to then have to essentially reset again and rebuild again, which is what we've been doing. We tried it with Brian Daboll. We tried. It didn't work. You know? We tried Daniel Jones. It didn't work. He had his quarterback, whatever. They gave him Jackson Dart. I still don't think letting him go was the right call. I still think Brian Daboll should be the head coach of the Giants right now over Mike Kafka for sure. What did Mike Kafka do? Sit on the sideline and twiddle his thumbs? Like, what do you... God, we're done with Mike Kafka. Be gone. Bye, Mike Kafka. I think Antonio Pierce should be the head coach. I think, obviously, one of the front runners right now is John Gruden, you know, or Mike McCarthy. You know, those are two big names I feel like a lot of fans want. I feel like I'm definitely in the minority for not putting them as my top two. You know, they're top three. I think Antonio Pierce should be before them too. Like, the thing is true with me, I love a legacy story, you know? Like Antonio Pierce winning the Super Bowl against the Patriots and Tom Brady coming back to then coach an up-and-coming team. The Giants are an up-and-coming team. The schedule got released for next season. It's looking pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Nowhere near as hard as it was this season. We had a very hard schedule this season. I'm thinking 8 to 9 wins next season. Anywhere between 8 to 11 wins. I feel like, honestly, playoff contention. I just want to not be eliminated before Thanksgiving. Please, I want to have hope by Thanksgiving. I want to be able to talk about football with my family at Thanksgiving and not have to cry myself to sleep. Which is how I've had to do that for the past 4 years now. 3, not 4. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I want the Giants to be in playoff contention come Thanksgiving. That's my standard. Not a hard standard to have. Be mediocre. Be mediocre. Get into the playoffs. Make something happen. That's what I got to say about that. All right, moving on to the NFL news, right? Obviously, today is Black Monday. For all you guys who do not know what Black Monday is, it is the Monday after the regular season ends and all of the teams who didn't make the playoffs fire their coaches. Or fire players, let players go, fire staff. And there was a lot today. There was a lot of firings today. Falcons fire. I'm gonna butcher these names too because I don't say them often. The Falcons fired Raheem Morris. The Browns fired Kevin Stefanski. Raiders fired Pete Carroll only after 1 season. The Cardinals fired Jonathan Gannon. So yeah, obviously a lot of moves being made here. A lot of teams gonna be looking for head coaches too. So there's gonna be a lot of contention for the head coaching field. But I think the Giants will get whatever coach they want. Let's take a look. All the teams that didn't make the playoffs, they're plateaued right now. They're doing fine. They're okay right now. They don't really have anywhere to go. The Giants have somewhere to go. You have a new quarterback showing so much potential. A running back that took the league by storm. A wide receiver that was first overall drafted and showed why he was a first overall. You have so many pieces here. Dexter Lawrence, captaining. Bobby Okereke, Thibodeau. But Thibodeau, not Thibodeau. That's the coach of the Knicks. Sorry, I'm thinking of too many players right now. You have so many pieces here that are just waiting to see grow and become something amazing, to become a new dynasty possibly. These players stay healthy, and we keep adding, yeah, it's going to be a dynasty team. The next 5 years, yeah, there's going to be a Super Bowl in that. I'm saying it. There will be a Super Bowl, maybe not a win, but a Super Bowl appearance in the next 5 years if the Giants stay healthy and keep playing the way they're playing. Not playing the way they're playing. Play better than the way they're playing. Don't keep playing the way you're playing. God, don't do what you just did this season. Do not repeat this season. God. Dude, you know how injury-prone Malik Neighbors is. Cam Skattebo looks like a different kind of being. He just looks like a beast of a human. I feel like he could just stop a train. I feel like he'll just headbutt a train and just derails the entire thing because he's just that guy. He's just got that dog in him. I feel like he's also not that injury-prone, which is kind of nice. Even though, obviously, he had a bad injury. But, anyone, I'm saying injury-prone, you take a hit, you get injured just because you're frail. You know what I mean? Look at Jackson Dart. He takes hits all the time. He doesn't get injured. Cam Skattebo literally had a man hip drop, tackle him, and land on top of his ankle, and his ankle rolled back. Anyone's going to get injured like that. Anyone's going to get injured like that. So that does not count. Moving on to other NFL news. The Chiefs, they're going from Missouri to Kansas City. Kansas City's finally being Kansas City. Shocker. That should I think it was the start of the 2031 season is what I read. Yeah. For the 2031 season. So no more Arrowhead. Great football stadium. Lots of legacy in there. Current memories being made. Staying on the topic of the Chiefs, Travis Kelce rumored to retire. I think it's time. I'm sorry. I think it's time for Travis Kelce to hang the cleats up, put the pads away. He's had his run. He was great. He was a great tight end. Pro Bowler. He Consistent touchdowns, consistent receptions, Super Bowl wins, the fame. He was a great tight end. He's not playing good this season. You see him dropping balls he would catch. You see him not running routes like he would normally run them. You see the Chiefs didn't even make the playoffs. They went from Super Bowl appearance to not even making the playoffs. That's like the Red Bulls bad. Red Bulls went from MLS Cup appearance to not even making the playoffs. I think Travis Kelce, it's time to hang up the cleats, brother. Go on to Taylor Swift. Go live your life of extravagance. I think after he hangs up the cleats and the pads, I think he'll become like an announcer or something. Similar to like Tom Brady, even though I don't like Tom Brady as an announcer. He bores me to tears. God, he puts me to sleep. I think Travis Kelce will definitely become an announcer, ESPN analyst, something like that. Because I think he's got a great personality. You see him in all these commercials and whatnot with Patrick Mahomes, and you see he's got great football knowledge, obviously being kind of everywhere you can be in football terms. He's been Super Bowls, he's had defeats, he's had insane victories, he's had the fame, the beautiful girls, you know what I mean? Taylor Swift, yeah, whatever. Taylor Swift, who cares? But yeah, I think it's time for him to hang up the cleats. All right, let's move on to the playoff brackets, right? Playoff brackets, we have Broncos and Steelers, obviously winning both divisions. Bye round into the second round immediately. I don't think any of them are making the Super Bowl though. My friend Anthony, he's saying it's gonna be Seahawks Super Bowl. I'm like, nah, I just don't see it, dude. He said it was gonna be Seahawks Texans. I don't know. So we have that Steelers going against the Texans. Jaguars Bills, Patriots Chargers, Panthers Rams, Eagles Niners, Bears Packers. I think Eagles Niners is gonna be a good game to watch. Eagles Niners is gonna be entertaining. I think Bears are gonna smoke the Packers. Eagles Niners, I think Niners pull up the upset. I think the Eagles are going to come into it feeling comfortable, winning an extremely easy division. You know what I mean? NFC East was so easy to win for them. We handed it to them. None of the other teams made the playoffs. They're going to come in like way too confident, I feel. I think they just have not been playing as good of football they did last season. I think that there's been moments that the Eagles have really shown and they're good. I think the tush push, I think, has been failing them recently a little bit. I'm gonna say it. The people are gonna get wise come the playoffs. I'm speaking from a referee's perspective right now. Eagles in the false starts. Don't think we don't see that. Don't think we don't see those false starts you guys keep doing. But it's all right. Whatever. Who am I to comment on it? I'm not a football referee. But I think the Niners are going to come in. I think they're going to come in underdog story. I think they're making it to the second round. Panthers, Rams. Rams are smoking the Panthers. They got redemption. They need redemption, Panthers, they're going to go down in a ball of fire. Patriots, Chargers, obviously. Patriots are going to steamroll Chargers. I think Patriots got good chance of making Super Bowl. Jaguars, Bills. This is going to be I'm still up in the air about it because you have, like, the Bills and their unwillingness to not give up. But you also have the Jaguars, obviously, with Trevor Lawrence being he's a great quarterback. He's a really great quarterback so far. Even with the injury last season. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Bills just because I like the Bills. They've been good consistently, and I feel like they need a deep playoff run. They're gonna get it. Steelers, Texans. I think Texans are going to wipe the floor with the Steelers. I think that it's an upset because I think the Texans' defense is just way too good right now. I think the Texans they're firing on all cylinders right now, especially at the end of the season, putting up good numbers. I think their defense is definitely going to carry them throughout this postseason. If they were to make a run, it would be because of their defense, All right, well, we're going to go for a quick break again here right before the 40th minute. I'm going on here. If you'd like to call in, it is 973-655-4256. If you would like to watch live, if you would like, on my Instagram, I have a live stream. Also, if you'd like to support, there's on all podcast platforms, Lifting the Trophy, all social medias, Lifting the Trophy, if you would like to support that. But don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. All right, welcome back from that quick little break. Sorry, I had to get a little sip of water there, and I want a nice smooth change in topic. So now talking about the Knicks. If you want to talk anything about the Knicks, you feel free to call in 973-655-4256. I have a few things to talk about with the Knicks here. Then we're going to move on to NBA things and the non-tanking ideas, which I feel like will take a little more time. But right now with the Knicks, I think we're in a little bit of a skid right now. We're losing the teams that we should be beating. I think we lost to the Hawks. That was a tough one. That was a tough pill to swallow. The Hawks loss was rough. You know, that one we played bad. I mean, it watching them, it kind of felt like they just weren't there that night. You know what I mean? We almost came back in the fourth. You know, we showed fight in the end. I kind of was waiting for the Knicks to really come up big as a team. The only person I really saw coming up big was Towns, Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, which he did. He showed up big. You know, he was trying to take it into his own hands. You know, he was shooting 50% from three. You know, and 53% from the floor, which I think is good. You know, that's about half the shots. 50% from three is good. You know, that's a good shooting percentage for 3-pointers, in my opinion. I know some people argue that they want more selective 3-point shooting and to shoot better. You know what I mean? Like get essentially make more 3-pointers. But I think the biggest thing with last season is that we didn't shoot enough threes, and I think now Mike Brown is telling them just to hawk them up there and send up a prayer with it. You know, I feel like the more 3-pointers we take will be good, especially tonight against the Pistons. Big game tonight, by the way. This could be an ECF preview, Eastern Conference final preview. I think this could be this could kind of boost the Knicks, you know, because they're gonna come in here not favorited. They're not gonna be favorited coming into this Pistons game tonight. There's no way to deny that. The Pistons are an insanely good team, you know. They're really good, constantly battling with the Knicks for positioning and whatnot. And I think this is going to be a important game. Like, you know, there's a lot of games in the basketball season, but some games are just more important than others. This is one of those games where you kind of got to lock in a little bit more. It's one of those games where you're just, as a fan, you watch a little, like you pay a little more attention, you know? You kind of look for the flaws of the Pistons. Like, okay, if this is an ECF preview, what can we exploit in the future, you know? You really want to intimidate them. You know, you really want to come out hard and fast in the first period here and kind of set the tone. You know, listen, games are made in the first and last minute of each period. It's just the truth. Yeah, and that's something that's been said for ages with basketball, but I think with this Knicks team it's important too, because we are very much a momentum team. You know, I feel like if there's not a lot of momentum in the game, like at the start of the game, I should say, the Knicks kind of fall off for the rest of the game until Jalen Brunson ultimately comes up and is him, because he's just the best. I love Jalen Brunson. Another player who's been really showing up, I talked about him a little bit last week, my boy, Tyler Kolek. Oh, you already knew it. You already knew I was going to talk about Tyler Kolek. I love Tyler Kolek. So does all of the Knicks fan base too. Like, who is this kid? He just kind of showed up out of nowhere. I didn't even know he was on the team, to be honest with you, until he started showing up big time, you know? And showing up big time as in like Jalen Brunson does. I'll be one of the first to say it. I think Mini Brunson. No longer Tyler Kolek. He's Mini Brunson. And here's the thing. You see him hustling up and down the court. You see him dead plays in the backcourt, sprinting back, making plays. There's the one time Wemby against the Spurs. Wemby dribbling all the way back, going up for a slam dunk. He runs back, slaps the ball out of his hand. That's the kind of hustle you want. That's the kind of hustle you need to show, especially as a rookie, especially as a player who's fighting for minutes. Especially now that Deuce McBride is back, or Miles McBride. Now fighting for your minutes. That's something you got to show, you know. But Tyler Kolek is good, dude. Tyler Kolek is good. You know, he's got the hustle. He's got the 3-point shooting. You know, Brunson's kind of more of like a pick and choose where he shoots. Tyler Kolek tends to shoot more from the 3-point range. But the biggest thing about him, he's got that clutch gene. You see, he's got the clutch gene. When the lights are brightest, he shines. He steps up. He performs. You know, you saw it against the 76ers. The team was down. The team was down for a lot of the game. The team was down. There was no momentum. We had nothing going for us. Shots were not falling. Tyler Kolek comes into the game. It's Tyler Kolek, Brunson line, which I love, by the way. That should be our starters, Kolek, Brunson, because magic happens when they're on the court. You know, because 2 shooting threats. That's 2 people who can drop dimes in there from 3. You know what I mean? Especially then you have Cat on there taking threes too. I mean, I think Kolek will become Brunson eventually. You know, hopefully when Brunson is still on the team, preferably they're both elite together. You know, but obviously Brunson will eventually slow down. He will eventually, you know, kind of fall off like LeBron James is doing right now. He was LeBron James, one of the greatest basketball players ever, but he's falling off now. Don't kill the messenger. It's just the truth. LeBron James is not as good as he used to be. He's slowing down. He's lazy. He's fighting for fouls or searching for fouls. He's not what he used to be. Jalen Brunson, on the other hand, is him. He's amazing. Top 3 point guard in the league right now. Who am I to speak though? But yeah, Tyler Kolek definitely up and coming. I think give him more minutes, let him make mistakes, let him figure out his play style and what works. I mean, he's definitely starting to figure it out. It's definitely like that hustle, in your face, Josh Hart energy type of player, which fits the Knicks system so well. It fits the Knicks so well. You know, I feel like Tyler Kolek just he fits the team, like he fits the style, he fits the flow, he fits the 3-point shooting which we needed, you know? And now you have Miles McBride coming back, who's just known for his 3-point shooting. That's just McBride. Like he's a shooter, you know. He's a shooter, shoot. You know, he's been really good since coming back. You know, and it goes to show the depth we have on the bench. Jordan Clarkson, 352 points in the season, 43% shooting. That's really good. That's real good for a bench player. Miles McBride, 298 points on the season, 44.6% shooting. He was injured, so obviously his points can be a little bit less. But when he's on the court, his presence is felt is a thing too. You know, like you gotta have a man on him because he's gonna make whatever goes up. You give him the ball in the hands. You put the ball in his hands and you give him an open shot. He's gonna make it. He don't miss. Bro, don't miss. You know. And then you have Tyler Kolek now too, who I was just talking about. 160 points in the season, shooting 45%, highest shooting percentage, granted lowest points, but he's just started getting minutes. You know, he just kind of started getting in there. And I feel like Tyler Kolek's presence is felt in other ways besides just his shooting, you know? Defensively, he just annoys everyone, or like every ball handler in front of him, you know? Great defense, you know? And especially when players are annoying him, he stays calm, cool, collected. He doesn't get flustered, you know? You saw against the Sixers. Every time you would take the ball down the court, someone would be right up on him, annoying him, pestering him, trying to make him fail, but it didn't work. He was cool, he was calm, he was collected. He was looking up, ready to make a play and ultimately make a bucket. And that's what you want. That's what you see in Jalen Brunson too. You see Jalen Brunson doing that. Not fazed by a little bit of defense in his face defense, you know? He makes stuff happen. Same with Kolek. They both have that clutch genetic. They both have that yeah, I'm better than you, and here's why. I'm going to show you why I'm better than you. I'm going to make a bucket in your face, and then I'm not going to brag about it. That's the biggest thing. You know, Tyler Kolek, he does like that 3, like he kisses his hand and like, you know, does the 3-point thing. which I love. I think that's cool. But he's not in people's face. He's not bragging like he's morally better than other people. And I feel like that's the most notable thing about great players. I feel like great players don't need to show it. Sorry, they don't need to flaunt it around. Great players are known to be great. They don't need to prove they're great to other people, you know? And clearly Tyler Kolek is becoming there. You had the entire stadium, arena, chanting Tyler Kolek's name. All of MSG was chanting his name. Kolek, Kolek, Kolek. I mean, when a fan base believes in you, you're golden. You're good. You don't need, dude, I'm telling you, and this kid's only going to get better. Tyler Kolek is only going to get better with the more experience he gets and the more minutes that's granted to him. Because right now he's being used as a pick-me-up piece. Same with Jordan Clarkson, you know what I mean? Two great players who just energize the team. They're being used as okay, we need a little bit of energy. Put these two in. Let's get stuff going. Let's get some stuff hustling. You know what I mean? Let's get the ball up and down the court real fast. Let's make some buckets, you know? Get the game flowing how we want to. You know, they're being used as pieces right now, but I think Tyler Kolek in a season or two will be a starting point guard. It's inevitable. Look at him. You have to start him. You have to start him. You have the fan base behind him. You have the hustle, the clutch genetic, the good shooting, the good basketball knowledge, not phased in pressure, the good eyes, who's able to make passes, someone who's able to play defense too. Great defense. In people's faces, making plays happen, not giving up on plays. I mean, I could keep going on and on about how this kid is going to be the future of the Knicks. He will be the future of the Knicks. And I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be a season or two before he really gets comfortable in playing. Because right now, you know, when you're coming off the bench every so often, you can't really get into a flow of the game. You know, you can't really get settled in there, settled down and comfortable. You get kind of for all my athletes out there, the first few minutes of the game, you're always hectic. You're in your head. You know what I mean? You're running around. You're like, all right. You know, I gotta do this, gotta do that. 100 things are going through your mind. As the game goes on, you calm down. You're like, all right, we're gonna take this one step at a time. Here's what we're gonna do next. You know, here's the plays that we have to make. Like when I was playing soccer, right, as a goalie, I was notorious for this, right? Not notorious. I was known, I did this all the time, is what I'm trying to say. Beginning of the game will start, right? I'm immediately let's go, boys, yeah! Keeping it going, hyping up the team and whatnot, right? You know, because we're all hyped up. We all just got to have our little huddle, our chant that we all did. You know, we would, salmon on three, and we go, blub, 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 because our team was just salmon. Don't laugh. It's badass when you think about it. We would go, blub, 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 salmon on three, 1, 2, 3, salmon. You know, and then we would super hyped up. It gets you going. It gets your gears turning, you know. So you go into the game immediately, you know, we're high press, you know, we're challenging everybody, everything, yada, 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 you know. And then as the game goes on, you kind of settle down, you get into the groove of it, you kind of get your nerves out, you know what I mean? All right, my confidence is here. And especially from a goalie's perspective, too. It takes me a while to build up my confidence in the game. Because you don't know how you're going to perform on the day. You don't get many touches is a thing, too, you know? If I was playing, midfield, immediately 5 minutes into the game, you could see how you're playing. You could see how you're performing. All right, am I having a good game? Am I having a bad game? What do I need to do to make this game the best I can? What am I going to do to benefit the team? You know what I mean? As a goalie, in the beginning of the game, I might get a few shots, 1, 2, in the first 10, 20 minutes. That's not a good warm-up. Not you got to get your confidence up. You got to make a few good stops from confidently diving for balls, you know, because you're cautious in the beginning of a game. You know, you don't want to mess up. You don't want to lose. No one wants to lose. Like the Giants. We didn't want to lose these past 2 games, and we didn't. You know? But yeah, the 76ers loss. Back to the Knicks. 76ers loss was a rough one. I really thought that was a game we could win. You know, and we just got beat the entire game. We just got beat, man. And it was clear Embiid was rubbing it in our face. God, I hate Joel Embiid so much. God, I hate him so much. And listen, he He played fine against us. He was just the loudest one on the court, you know. Oh God, I hate Joel Embiid so much. Sorry to all my Sixers fans out there. I have a friend Riley who's a Sixers fan, so yeah, sorry I'm dogging on your Sixers team right now. But they outplayed us. Sixers outplayed us. It's as simple as that, you know. But I feel like that was a tough pill to swallow, watching us just get beat in every way. Not in every way, just mostly get beat. I mean, Jalen Brunson, he stepped up. You know, he kind of he shot 40%. He was sub 40% shooting, only 26 points. He didn't step up. No one stepped up. No one. They put in Kolek, they put in Clarkson, McBride. No one really energized us and got a flow going. That's the biggest thing with basketball, right? You got to have a flow of the team. You have a flow of the game. You have to have a period where you're putting up big points to take a big leap ahead and then maintain it. You know, that's how you win games. Like, you win games by having a flow somewhere where you're knocking every shot down, you're playing good defense, and then you hold the lead. You play consistent. You don't give up stupid turnovers, stupid plays like what the Knicks were doing. Too many turnovers, man. Too many turnovers. All right, going into the 6 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about a lot of cool stuff. We're moving on to the Red Bulls. We're moving on to the press conference they just talked about how one of the players ghosted another team after verbally agreeing to play with them. Then moving on to the Devils. Should we boo? Should we boo our players? Then ultimately wrapping it up with the Yankees and my takes on Brian Cashman and what he's not doing. Don't go anywhere. If you want to call in, phone number is 973-655-4256. If you would like to watch it live, I have it on my Instagram. If you want to support Lifting the Trophy on all podcast platforms, all social medias, if you would like to support. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is WMSC 90.3 Upper Montclair, and you're listening to Lifting the Trophy with your host, Connor Naspel. I forgot to talk about NBA stuff. It's a few points I want to talk about before then I move on to the Devils and the Red Bulls and the Yankees. So the NBA has released some ideas for to stop tanking. Essentially, what tanking is playing bad purposefully to get a better draft pick, right? You see this a lot in football, see it in basketball too. So they just released some ideas, theories that could possibly be, if they're unanimously agreed upon, implemented. All 23 coaches have to agree on this, or managers, or whatever it is. So the first idea they had was no longer allowing teams to draft in the top 4 2 years in a row. I don't like that. I don't think it's gonna work too. I mean, if a team is just bad, they're just bad 2 years in a row. You know, like if a team just like the Nets. Think about the Nets. If the Nets are just really bad 2 years in a row, which is definitely a possibility, they're not gonna be allowed to. Like, what's gonna happen then? You know, I don't know. I don't like that one. The second idea they had was locking lottery positions in after March 1st. The season ends in April 12th this year. So essentially what happened, March 1st hits, whatever the draft order is what it's going to stay like no matter what happens, which I just don't see then the incentive to win for teams. Like, yeah, the draft picks are going to stay the same, but where's the incentive to win as a player? You know? Like, as a player, like, okay, I literally have nothing to play. Like, when they're tanking, they're playing to, well, they're not playing to get a pick, but, like, they're playing bad. Like, it's just a gray area of the season where no one really cares after the picks are locked in if you're definitely not making the playoffs, you know? Like, that one I also don't like. The third one, I do kind of like this one. Limiting pick protections to either top 4 or 14 and higher, which would then eliminate all the mid-ladder projections. Essentially what a pick protection is, right? A team, I'll give you an example. Team A gives Team B 5th round pick, but it's protected, right? if Team A ends up playing really bad and they end up within the draft order 1 through 5, they keep the pick. If they're going 6 and up, they end up getting 6 and up, Team B then gets the pick, right? If Team A plays bad and lands 1 through 5, the pick will then be rotated to either later in the draft or next draft for Team B. So it took me a while to kind of understand that one, but I like that one the most. I feel like then now you're incentivizing teams to play, because sometimes teams would tank just to get within that certain range of where they had to be to get that pick. So I feel like now you're giving them an incentive. All right, we need to win anyways. Might as well win, you know? So yeah, that was what the NBA released, I say about a week ago, with their ideas on how to stop the tanking. So yeah, moving on from basketball, we are gonna go on to the New York Red Bulls. If you'd like to call in, again, the number is 973-655-4256. The Red Bulls, right? A few new signings. We have Thomas Hutt, who was a goalie that they picked in the 21st round of the MLS Super Draft. Apparently, he's really good. I think he came from, like, Syracuse or something like that. I don't know. Apparently, he's really good, so I don't care. I think there's a lot of goalies right now, which is the only thing where I'm kind of concerned about. I'm like, okay, we're spending a lot of money, wasting some GAM on goalkeepers, which we already have. Like, we have that dude from LA Galaxy. I forgot his name. Then we signed AJ Marcucci. We brought up the dude from Red Bulls 2. Now we signed another goalie. We brought in another goalie for Red Bulls 2. Then we signed this goalie for Red Bulls 2, who could possibly eventually play for Red Bulls, the main team. So I don't really know what they're thinking with the goalkeeper situation. If you were to ask me, I'd want AJ Marcucci. I think he's proven himself as a really good goalie. If it wasn't for the injury, I think he would have been. He could have started a few games for the Red Bulls in place of Cornell, which he did. You know, he played the League's Cup. He did great. He did great. He saved, I think it was like 3 PKs in his shootout to then advance us. You know, which I think is beyond impressive. Saving penalty kicks is hard. Saving penalty kicks is really hard as a goalkeeper. So I feel like he's a good goalie. I feel like he's got good ball knowledge, good knowledge of the game. He's confident on the ball. I think keep him, put him in the net. Moving on to the other signings. I'm gonna butcher this. God. Nehuin Bendetti from Club Estudiantes de La Plata. He was originally he just played for Red Bulls 2 this past season. Really good player. There's no brainer this guy was coming up. This guy was always coming up. It was a no brainer. I signed him to a 4-year contract. For Red Bulls 2 last season, 11 goals and 7 assists in 23 games. That's great. That is a producer right there. He makes stuff happen. That is a player we need, especially for the lack of goals, minus Choupo-Moting from last year, the lack of production from the team. Having this player on here is going to be great. It is going to be great. In midfield, too, attacking midfielder, perfect. It's going to fit our style of play. Michael Bradley just said in the press conference I listened to on the way here how they're switching the style back to that really high energy, press, anything is our ball kind of soccer, which I think is going to fit this team so well. Especially after releasing everyone from the last team. Like, literally everyone was released. Not literally everyone, but just about everyone was released from the last team. So I'm glad we're now showing that we're switching. He was named MLS Next Pro Best Starting 11. And he's only the second player in franchise history to do that besides Tom Barlow. And, well, we all know what happened to Tom Barlow. Chicago Fire. Whatever. He was also named MLS Next Pro Player of the Month in June. He contributed 4 goals in the playoffs, which is really good. Again, late season production, huge. Every goal matters in the playoffs. Every goal. He made 1 appearance for Argentina U20 national team. And before Red Bulls, he spent 2 seasons with Estudiantes. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know, but that guy's definitely someone. Keep your eye on him. he's gonna be someone really good. Same with like Kate Colo and Che that would just sign. I think all three of those players are gonna be good signings. I think they're gonna produce. I think they're gonna be good fits for the team, and Michael Bradley and his style. The next person we signed was Robert Vololder. I don't know. 24-year-old center back from Sporting Kansas City. This is good timing because we just released Alexander Hack today, which he wasn't doing it for me. He was all right. He was reliable, but he wasn't stand out. He was tall, so he got like good aerial battles. We brought him in because we got rid of Andreas Reyes, who was the best aerial battle duel winner, whatever, in all of MLS. So releasing Hack, I'm not sore over it. Okay, he did good. I appreciate it. Good luck in your next endeavors. He's old too, dude. He's got like kids. He's old. Vololder. I gotta learn how to say his name. Started his pro career in 2020 with a German club. God, I'm gonna butcher this one too. FC Köln. 2021, he went to Slovenia Prva League team Maribor. I should have done more pronunciation homework on this. Jeez. The 2022, he signed with Sporting Kansas City. With Kansas City, 20 appearances, no goals, no assists, 1 yellow card. I think it'll be all right. I think it's a depth piece. I think we're definitely going to sign more defensive players or bring up more defensive players from the second team. I definitely don't think we're done anytime soon with signing. Preseason is around the corner. We have February starts the season. MLS has the shortest off season in all of sports. But I do think that we're going to sign at least one more defensive player and hopefully a striker that can do something for us. Because Choupo-Moting can't carry this team on his back. He can't. I'm sorry, Choupo-Moting's good, but like he can't keep doing that. Last season he had great production, but it's not. It's hard to be that consistent in any league, especially now that the MLS is getting better. MLS is getting better, more popular. Everyone's like, oh, it's just a European retirement home league. Yeah, that's why we're getting better. Duh. We're getting all the good European people. But yeah. On some good news, Mohamed Sofa leaving was false rumors. There was rumors that he was going to leave to go to a team, some Spanish club, I don't know what it was. But the rumors were false. Thank God. I love Sofa. I think he's great. I think he's going to be one of the future players of his team for sure. Without a doubt in my mind, he's going to be a great future player for us. Another thing, Carlos Cornell left this season. One of the greatest goalies in Red Bull history. Undoubtedly, him and Luis Robles, right? He was released. He verbally agreed to play with Orlando. Nobody wants that on the Red Bulls team. No one in the Red Bulls wants that. You know what I mean? He was a great goalie. We don't want to see him go to an opposition team like that. So he verbally agreed. He's like, yeah, I'll come play with you. And then he ghosted him. Carlos Cornell, you dog. Red Bull for life. He ghosted him. He said, nah, I don't need to come play with you guys. I'm too good for you anyway. He said, you can figure out your goalie situation on your own. I don't want to be with you. I don't want to go to Florida where it's too hot and your team stinks. Dude, when I heard that, that made me so happy. Because, like, that's just, like, you got some rocks if you're doing that, if you know what I mean? Like, cause that's guaranteed money right there. He's not guaranteed another spot in a club somewhere. Because I know he's going to Europe to play for a better team, which he should. He deserves it. He's an amazing goalie. He deserves going to a European team. The only reason he didn't start for Panama was because the coach hated him because he was beefing with the coach over there. But I that made me so happy. I was so happy when I heard that he's ghosted Orlando FC. Especially because we beat Orlando FC in the playoffs. Was it semifinals, quarterfinals, something like that. For our MLS Cup run. So that felt great. And now we have our situations with our goalie, which I talked about before, which I still think it should be AJ Marcucci. I don't know if it's gonna be AJ Marcucci because he's young. He hasn't had much experience in the professional MLS realm. He's had a lot of experience MLS Pro, MLS 2. I think he's going to show up big, though. I think you put him in the net, I think he's definitely going to show up. He's got height. He's really, really agile. He's good moving towards the ball. He's a good shot stopper, which, I mean, that's what you want in a goalie, obviously, stop the shots. But, like, there's different kinds of goalies out there, Cornell, big into, like, the coming out one-on-one saves, You have those one-on-one goalies. You have the goalies that great in the air. Courtois, great in the air. AJ Marcucci, I feel like, is a great shot stopper. He's not, like, afraid to come out and get the ball. He's not afraid to come out on corner kicks and take what's his. But I feel like if a shot's coming in, I feel confident that he'll be able to get down on the ground or get across the goal and stop it, grab it, contain it. You know what I mean? Show no fear in the net. That's what the biggest thing for me as a goalie too. That's what I look for the most is, do you have fear in the net? Are you more comfortable diving to your right than to your left? Are you able to hold on to balls in the air, or are you bouncing them down and have the possibility of a rebound, tap-in goal? Can you lead your team? Can you show your team? Because as a goalie, you see the entire field. It is your job as a goalie to tell people, hey, man on, play the ball right, watch out for this, do this. You know what I mean? Like, your coach can only see so much. You see the entire field as a goalie. It is your job to motivate your team and tell them what's going on and essentially send them comms, And I feel like that's something he's going to have to learn. That also comes with comfort in the team. I know I used to play like really good, like high level soccer, goalkeeping, right, for Cedar Stars, that was years ago. But I wasn't comfortable with the team, so I wasn't sending out comms. I wasn't talking to them that much, compared to my other team, the Salmon, Freehold Salmon, woo, blub blub. I was sending out comms. I was comfortable with them. I was telling them what to do, essentially bossing them around. I mean, hey, I was right most of the time, but there was times I was wrong. I'll admit it. I done goofed a few times. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's a big thing that he's got to show us. Is he ready? Is he mentally there? Is he mature enough for this? I know he's got the talent. I know he's got the skill set. I know he's got the not the experience. I know he's got the support around him. But is he mature enough, and is he ready? That's what I want to see. I feel like to show that, it's going to come a lot in preseason. It's going to come a lot in early season. Especially because we have a longer season now that's being aligned with what's it called, the European calendar, which is a good thing, by the way. That's a good thing because trades will be easier, and you're able to kind of follow multiple teams at once too in the European League. So yeah, that's going to be a big thing because we could test stuff out in the beginning of the season. We're going to have the World Cup break in the middle of the season. It's going to be like a month or two where no MLS, just all World Cup, because a bunch of the players will be called up. Choupo-Moting will be called up. Forsberg will be called up. Oh my gosh, a lot of players left, so I think Sofo will be called up. Victor Bogash will be called up. Yeah, I have a lot of players. Cornell Woods called up in the past. So you're going to have a lot of players out and other players resting, which is huge. Time to rest like that is massive, especially if you have injuries going into that break. Being able to heal, that's huge. That's huge. That's huge. Yeah, so now moving on to the Devils, right? The Devils, right now they're bad. I'm not going to sit here and try and lie. If you disagree with me, feel free to call in. Phone number is 973-655-4256. 973-655-4256. The Devils are just not firing on all cylinders like they were in the beginning of the year, And I think part of that, when everyone was coming back from injury, I was like, okay, they're coming back from injury. It takes them a minute. It takes a second to be like, all right, getting back in the groove of things, figuring out the lines, the chemistry, getting back into conditioning. They've been back for a while now. It's time. It's time to start being good again, please. We saw the comeback against the Blue Jackets. First period, second period, getting smoked. It was a non-contest first and second period, but the third period comes around. Something said in that locker room. I think it was Mercer that stood up, or Nason that stood up in the locker room and inspired the team, which is what you want. And they came out and they showed up big. They showed up big. They ended up coming back against the Blue Jackets. Markstrom was big in that game. Making clutch stops. When Markstrom is on, dude. He is on. World-class goalie. He got called up to the Swedish national team, too, which was well-deserved. Same with Jesper Bratt. Jack Hughes now on the USA national team. Hope he can show up big. I know I talked about that a little bit before when the caller called in about the USA lineups being posted. But, oh my gosh, I totally forgot what I was talking about here. Last night, right? The Devils, last night? 2 nights ago? I don't know. It was last night. They went against the Canes, right? Luke Hughes, he done goofed. He had an own goal. He gave up the puck right in front of the net, which then led to a goal. And the fans booed him, And I agree with the boo. Here's the thing, right? When my opinion, when we're booing players, right? As fans, we hold players to a certain standard, and booing shows that. If we're booing them, we're showing them this is the standard that we're holding you to. But then you don't keep doing it the whole game to a certain player for your own team. You have to pick it's our jobs as fans. We're just here to pick up our players and motivate them and motivate the team to win. That's our job as fans. That's why we go to games. That's why we get loud at games. So booing a player the entire game, I do not agree with. That should not happen, especially for a player as good as Luke Hughes. Should not happen. All right, we got a call on the line. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. And we are back to Lifting the Trophy. This is 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. And we currently have a phone caller on the line. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, caller. Who is this?
This is Sam.
Sam, hi. Nice to meet you. Do you have a point?
Yeah, I was just calling to ask what your opinions are on the New Jersey Devils' current injury report.
Is there one that got released today or something?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the injury report. Who's out?
Well, I don't know. Is Hughes still out, right?
Jack Hughes?
Yeah, right? 'Cause
No.
his hand.
Jack Hughes, he's been back for a few games now.
He has?
Was he reported out today or something? Because that's last thing I saw last night when he was playing.
I'm a Bruins fan, but I just saw your jersey, so I figured.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with the lineup right now. I think what's his name? Kovacevic is still out. I don't know how they're gonna fit him in because we don't have any wiggle room money wise. But yeah, I'm pretty good with the lineup we have right now.
That's good. How do you feel with them going forward and going into the break for the Olympics?
I think it's definitely needed. They definitely need a mental reset. Because I feel like it's been so much mediocrity and losing. You kind of need to get back with your family. You need to get the vibes back up, and also too you got to rest. Hockey is such a physically demanding sport, and playing back-to-back games. I don't know how they do it personally. I could never do that. It's insane how they're slamming each other against walls, and then the next day they're coming out like nothing happened. It's crazy to me. But I think going into the break is gonna be important. One, how we end this I guess, or how we go into it. If we're going into it on a positive note, if we're going into it winning with a plus 500 or over 500 win rate, or if we're going into it bad and then we need to then pick up our spirits come after the break. I also think too, making sure we're all staying healthy until then, because that's important.
I totally agree. I think it's a good thing too with them playing in the Olympics the first time in a long time too.
100%. It's gonna be really cool for some of the players to get experience like that, because the Olympics is huge. It only comes around 4 years. I feel like Jack Hughes is gonna be great. Dawson Mercer I think got called up. Jesper Bratt, obviously Markstrom got called up. I feel like all of them are gonna really benefit from that. It's a high level of play, and I'm sure they're gonna learn things they can take back. And I hope that we can see come back into the NHL, and hope they'll bring some of the skills they learn back into games and turn it into winning.
No, yeah, totally. Well, that's all I have. So thank you.
Awesome. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. If you guys would like to call in, the phone number is 973-655-4256. So yeah, I think the Devils are in an okay spot right now. We're not. Last time I checked the standings, I think we are near the bottom of the division, which I think is going to change because the division is just so tight. You know, the division it's separated by 1 to 3 points. You know what I mean? Like 7th and through 2nd is like a difference of 1 to 3 points, which is just, that's one game. You know, that's one game that could boost you up. And I feel like what we need to start doing is beating the bad teams. That's important. Beating the bad team. We are not a bad team. I think we have our moments. Clearly, we have our moments. But I don't think we are a bad team. I think that we have a lot of potential with this. Like, there's so much talent on this roster that is waiting to be exploited and waiting to grow. Especially with young people like Luke Hughes, Dawson Mercer, who else is young on the team? Gritsuk. I mean, those three right there are just waiting. They're gonna grow and they're gonna become these stable players on the team. You know, they're gonna become people we can depend upon. Because I mean, listen, they're fine right now. They're doing all right now, but they're not dependable like how Jack Hughes is, like how Brett Pesce is, Timo Meier, Nico Hischier. You know, those are all players that we can count on. You know, when they're on the line, I feel good. You know, I think a line that needs to be used a lot more, Bratt, Hughes, Hischier. I think that's the line that we need to start rocking offensively. Because I feel like Jesper Bratt has been lackluster recently. He's not been producing as much as he was at the end of last season to the beginning of this season. 100 shots so far this season, 9% go in. He's at 9% shot rate. That's not good. That's really not that good. You know, for someone who should be leading the team, essentially. You know, to be fair, in his defense, he is also leading the team in points with 33 points and the assists, 24 assists. But I think he went from being a prolific goal scorer to not being able to, like, he scored those 2 goals, what was it, a week ago? I think it was against, like, the Mammoth or something. I don't know. But since then, we haven't seen him really. He hasn't been in front of the net. He hasn't been producing assists. He hasn't been, like, getting shots on the net, which is just, it's so confusing to me why Sheldon Keefe doesn't start Bratt next to Jack Hughes. Because here's my theory on why Jesper Bratt is not producing as much as he was. I think Jack Hughes, while he was out, he was the main guy, main stick handler, main dude who's going to bring the puck into the offensive zone. And teams knew that. Obviously, they do their homework. So I think they're then obviously going to pressure him more. All eyes are going to be on him. People are going to be trying to trap him and force a mistake out of him because they know he's just shifty with it. He's going to be trying to, you know, go around everyone, dribble around everyone. So I feel like now you have Jack Hughes is a dual threat. It's a double-sided sword right there. You have Jack Hughes, amazing stick handler. Jesper Bratt, amazing stick handler. Timo Meier gets in front of the net, scoops up rebounds. I mean, it's that easy. It's so simple. And we saw that the other day. We saw that against the Blue Jackets, and we saw it work. We saw it work really well. You know, they tried this in the 3rd period, and it worked. Outshot them. We got 3 goals. I don't know if they were all in the 3rd period. I don't remember. I've watched a lot of Devils games recently. But it is mind-boggling why Sheldon Keefe isn't doing this right now. Because if you think about it, you want to take the focus off of your main stick handler to let him stick handle and get pucks on the net, you know? Because Jack Hughes is great at it. He's great at finding the open man, finding the open shot lane, finding the areas of the ice where he can make a move, drive to the net, and then either dish it out or shoot, you know? And then you have people in Hagen is sitting in front of the net. Your centers. You know what I mean? You have people just waiting for a rebound. You know, like Nico Hischier, Timo Meyer, two players who were just great. Paul Cotter. I really like Paul Cotter. I think he should get more minutes, by the way. I think Paul Cotter is good. I like the way he plays. I like his aggressiveness. He might not be the best goal scorer, might not be the best stick handler, but he's good. I like the way he plays. I like his hustle. I like his grit. I like his mentality on the ice, and I see it, you know. And I think also to another big point I wanted to touch on, Dougie Hamilton plays like a buffoon. He plays like a buffoon. He plays like he was just born yesterday. He plays like this is his first time stepping on the ice. Like, what is he doing half the time? Sometimes I'll sit there watching my TV and just question why Dougie Hamilton decides to be how bad that he's being. He'll just sit there and I'm gonna wave my stick around and get penalty minutes every 2 seconds, and just miss. He misses. He does not get the puck. He just doesn't get the puck. Like he just doesn't get the puck. What you're supposed to do on defense. And he just makes mistakes all the time, and I'm sick of it. I don't want him on the first line. You know who I want on the first line? Brett Pesce. Brett Pesce should be on the first line. He's great. I love Brett Pesce. He's good. He's got great positioning. You saw against that one the Canes game, the 2-on-1 breakaway, right? It was I think Aho and Taylor Hall. I don't know. Where coming down the 2-on-1, Brett Pesce was back defending. He stayed his position perfect, right in between the two. Shut down the pass, right? Right when it gets close, put your stick on the ice, take away the passing lane, so Jake Allen knows that it's going to be a shot and can shut down the lane, the shot lane. And guess what? He stopped the shot. It's exactly what you're supposed to do. You know what Dougie Hamilton does? He pressures the puck carrier. Why? Because he's dumb. Because he doesn't know what's going on half the time. Because he looks like a lost baby. He looks like he's just wandering around, confused how he got there. Every time he steps on the ice, I'm surprised he doesn't fall over and crack his skull on like every time he gets on the ice, is it like I'm just so every time he gets on the ice, I don't understand how he stays upright sometimes. I don't understand how he doesn't just skate off, just go like Dougie Hamilton. I really don't like Dougie Hamilton, if you guys couldn't tell. I could keep complaining, but I should probably talk about something more interesting to you guys. What else I got on here? Oh yeah, actually no, let's keep dogging on Dougie Hamilton. Dougie Hamilton is -4. Brett Pesce is -2. The plus minus for all the people who don't know out there is how many goals are scored when a player is on the ice for 5-on-5 hockey. -1 is a goal scored against. +1 is a goal we scored. Right? So on 5-on-5 hockey, when Dougie Hamilton is on the ice, right? You start at 0. He is -4. So the other team has scored 4 more times than we have scored when he is on the ice. I don't know if that makes perfect sense, but I'm going to pretend like it does. Brett Pesce is -2. 2 goals is a big difference. Goals are hard to score. Granted, Dougie gets more minutes than Brett Pesce. I'll fully admit that. Dougie gets more minutes than Brett Pesce. I don't care. Brett Pesce is better. He's in people's faces. Especially put Pesce and Siegs together, Siegenthaler. That's a great line right there. 2 super defensively sound players playing next to each other. They're going to lock down. The issue is a lot of the times is like rebounds or pucks are getting through the middle of the ice, and that's how they're scoring. You put Brett Pesce there, Jonas, whatever his name is, Siegenthaler. Put them on the defensive line. It's lockdown. Nothing's getting through them. They see the middle of the ice so well, and I feel like that's just, again, another thing Sheldon Keefe is just not doing, man. Like, Sheldon Keefe is just, I don't know, like, does he have different statistics than what I'm seeing? Like, are we watching 2 different hockey games here? Like, there's got to be something on behind the scenes that I'm just not seeing, because I don't understand why Dougie Hamilton keeps starting in the first line over Brett Pesce. Because I'm boggled. My mind has been boggled. I don't see it. Because there is a team of coaches on the Devils that have to be seeing a different hockey game than what I'm watching. Maybe they're broadcasting a different hockey game on MSG or something like that. Because like I just don't see how you keep starting Dougie Hamilton when he's just not good. He's just not good. I gotta take a breather. A little bit. Oh, okay. Moving on to another more juicy topic. So, when we went against the Blue Jackets, there's a player on the team called Sillinger, right? He dated Tate McRae. He cheated on Tate McRae. Don't ask me why. I don't know why he would cheat on a superstar like Tate McRae. But now, our boy Jack Hughes is dating Tate McRae. Yeah, you heard that right. Little old Jack Hughes up with the big fish dating Tate McRae. And you know what? Sillinger cheated on Tate McRae. Jack Hughes pulled up on that game, and he said, I'm not letting you. I'm doing this for my girl now. Now it's personal, Cody. Now it's personal. You messed with my girl. You better pay. I'm about to reprimand you. I'm about to show you a whole nother world of hurt. And you know what he did? He did that. It took him to the third period, but he did it. Jack Hughes, he put him in a blender. I think Sillinger had like a penalty that game too. And like he did nothing. He did jack. You know what I mean? And nothing makes me happier than when players get revenge. See, that's why I think that hockey is the best playoff sport. I think it is the best playoff sport. Think about it. 7 games, right? I think sports should do 7 games when they can for playoffs. Hockey does 7 games, up to 7 games. Hockey also allows fighting. Hockey players are also crazy. Put those 3 together. One guy lays a nasty hit on one of your players, or you, in the first game, right? Second game back, you just wallop him. You clobber him, right? And then you get back to the hockey game. Third game back, he gets you back. Then, okay, we're dropping the gloves now, right? Big scrums, multiple scrums throughout the game, right? Fourth game comes along. Then it's like the whole team has a vendetta against another team because you mess with one, you mess with us all. You know what I mean? So then you just see hit after hit. You see intense hockey. You see like after every stoppage of play, you see someone grabbing each other by the shirt and like pushing them around. And like, I just think there's nothing more entertaining than that. Also, how fast-paced hockey is. I love watching hockey. I think that hockey is the best sport to watch. Fight me on that. Go ahead. Call up. Fight me on that. I think it's the best sport to watch. Fastest pace, right? It's a fast-paced sport, and it's low scoring, so the goals matter more exciting. And there's also, like, so much physicality. There's hits, fighting. You have checks, stick checks. And there's such a different dynamic of, like, penalties, you know what I mean? Like, the 4-on-4 is essentially, like, if you have a really good penalty kill, it doesn't matter if you give up penalties. You can play as hard as you want. 'Cause if your penalty kill is ranked the best in the league, you don't care if you're slamming people into the boards, risking getting penalties. And, like, it's on ice. That's cool. Being on ice is cool. It's a different dynamic, too. Like, everyone walks on grass and floor, and everyone knows how to run. But to learn how to ice skate and do it well, that's hard. You know what I mean? That's hard. And I feel like hockey player, you gotta be built different to be a hockey player. You know? Like, to be a hockey player, you gotta have something. You have to have your bell rung a little too hard one too many times. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs to be a hockey player like that. And I love watching hockey. I think it's also too, it could change on a dime. You know? It could change. Name another sport where it could really genuinely change on a dime. A turnover, run the other way, goal. That's the game. Like, football, all right, you score a touchdown, like a big pass. All right, that's cool. But, like, it takes a while. Like, that's not on a dime. It takes a few plays typically, you know? Soccer, you have to run all the way up and down the field. That takes a while. Basketball, don't even get me started. Baseball, you have to get men on base to really, like, make a difference, you know? Unless it's, like, a one-score game. Hockey, goals can happen so fast. So fast. I think that's why I'm always so engaged as a viewer, you know? Like, as a viewer, I'm always on the edge of my seat because there's always a possibility they can come back and score. I'm a big believer in not leaving a stadium until the game is completely over because you never know. You never know. The game ain't over till it's over. And that's so clear with the Devils because our mentality is it ain't over till it's over. And that's so clear. We're down by 4. We're still hustling for every single puck when most teams will just kind of send out their fourth line to prevent injuries on their first. No. We're hustling. That's the Devils' mentality. We're down by 3. Doesn't matter. We're fighting for the puck. We're trying to score. There's 10 seconds left. Doesn't matter. We're trying to get every goal we can because you never know. You never. That's what I love about the Devils. That is what I love about the Devils, because they don't give up. They have so much passion, and they have those leaders of the team that genuinely lead, which is hard to come across. Our captain, Nico Hischier. Assistant captains, Palat, Jack Hughes. You have Jacob Markstrom keeping us in games. Josh Allen, insane, clutch. You have a team who just doesn't give up. We lose, it happens, but we don't give up in the losses. And I feel like that's why I believe in this team so much. I truly believe that they will get good again, because they're resilient to losing, and it stings when they lose, because it's been a lot recently. It's been a lot of losing recently, but they're gonna come back. I know they're gonna come back. Yeah. All right, moving on to the Yankees. Brian Cashman. God, Brian Cashman, jeez. If you guys want to call up about Brian Cashman, the phone number is 973-655-4256. 973-655-4256. Yeah, everyone's doing stuff in the MLB. The Yankees aren't. The Yankees are sitting there just twiddling their thumbs, reclining back in their chair like, no, you know what? The roster we put out last season, that's going to be good enough. Yeah, that'll win us a World Series. Because that's how we measure success in the Yankees. The Yankees measure success by World Series. I don't care about playoffs. I don't care about percentages. I care if there's a ring on your finger. If there's not a ring on your finger, it is a failed season. It is as simple as that. The Yankees are built on championships, and we have not had a championship in too long. Way too long. It is unacceptable. And the fact it is unacceptable that the front of office is not changing anything. We did not get past the second round of the playoffs last season. That is not okay. That is not okay. The Blue Jays are making trades. The Dodgers still, even after winning back-to-back seasons, are still making trades, still acquiring people from Japan, still signing big-time players. The Yankees, are ranked the fourth most valuable team, and we still are not spending money because our owner wants to keep it all in his dang pocket. I don't know what he wants to do with it. Buy V-Bucks? Like, I don't understand what the holdup is for spending as much money as we can, committing to a team, committing to being the best team, and winning a World Series. For so long, mediocrity has been okay, and I'm sick and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of people just rolling over in the front office and saying, yeah, no, they'll make some. We have Aaron Judge. That's good enough. No, it's not good enough. Aaron Judge is great. He's my king. I love him. But it's not good enough to have one player who can hit a home run. It's a team sport. It is a team sport. And Brian Cashman's sitting over here, oh, yeah, our homegrown players will take care of it. Spencer Jones is coming up. I don't care. Look at Anthony Volpe. Granted, okay, first season on, okay, Gold Glove winner. From there, stunk. Horrible. Anthony Volpe leads the team in errors. He is one of the lowest fielding percentages on the team at .963. As a shortstop, you have one of the lowest fielding percentages and the most errors. Are you kidding me? His hitting average is 212. That is his hitting average. In 539 at-bats, he's only had 65 runs. He couldn't even break 100 runs. 539 chances to score. 65 times he brought in runs. Are you kidding? That's unacceptable. Get rid of him. I don't care he was good. Oh no, trust he's gonna be. He's done. He's done as a Yankee. I get it. He's a homegrown player. He's had a story. I don't care. Get rid of him. Go. Put in Ramirez Ariel. Go. I don't want Anthony Volpe anymore. He's had the third most at-bats on the entire team. and one of the lowest hitting percent. Like, dude, that it's just not like it's just a waste of money, space, and time. And it's not rocket science. Science. It's not rocket science to see that he's just not a valuable player. Anthony Volpe is just not a valuable player anymore. And it's been like that for so long. Leads the team in errors as our starting shortstop. One of the lowest fielding percentages as our starting shortstop. One of the lowest hitting percentages. 539 chances to score. And they only did it 65 times. That's not okay. It's not okay. I'm done. I'm done waiting around. I'm done believing in the kid. I did. Beginning of last season. No, trust. He'll be good again. He'll be good. We had those torpedo bats. He was whacking home runs. Like, yeah, he's good again. No, he's not. He's bad. No bueno. Get rid of him. Brian Cashman, sign someone to replace him. You got the money. I know you do, bud. I know you got the money. I see how loaded those pockets are. I see it, Steinbrenner. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. You could probably make enough money just by selling Yankee jerseys alone to sign a new shortstop. Let alone all the funding you get and all the money you came in with. I don't appreciate you settling down like, Let me go and sip on a pina colada, kick my legs up in Turks and Caicos, and just watch my team fail. We're doomed. If we don't do anything again. Get Bo Bichette. That's a start. Bo Bichette. Sign Cody Bellinger. Get Bo Bichette. There you go. 2 big hitters back. It's that simple. You have Aaron Judge there too. Come on. I mean, it's not rocket science here. Jason Dominguez, you can get rid of him. Spencer Jones is coming up. Ben Rice, big bat. Spencer Jones, big bat. Aaron Judge, big bat. Cody Bellinger, decently big bat. I mean, I don't understand why we're not making moves when the rest of the league is. It's so clear with they're literally telling us, nah, we're good, bro. Trust. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna trust you just because you told me to. Actually, no, from lack of telling me to. He haven't said nothing. He's not said nada. Nothing. No press conferences. No posts on X. No signings. No interest. The winter meetings happened. They're happened. Nothing. Please. From the bottom of my heart, Brian Cashman, do something. We're going to have another Fire Cashman Day. I know you don't want that. I know you don't want another Fire Cashman Day. I know you don't want that. When we all wore the T-shirts, someone flew the plane over. Yeah. Don't think we forgot. We'll have another one of those if you don't keep doing stuff. And like, I made this point 2 weeks ago. We need to start a direct line to Japan. Trade line to Japan. Here's the thing. Teams, Cubs are doing it. Dodgers are doing it. I think the A's are doing it now too. There's really good talent in Japan. We need to get those players on our team. Look at Shohei Ohtani. Prime example. Shohei Ohtani. The best player in baseball. I love Judge. Shohei Ohtani is the best player in baseball. Yamamoto. Amazing. They've got that new guy. I forgot what his name was. Like Akara or something. I mean, it is imperative that we start getting a good relationship in Japan. Because the reason a lot of players go to the Dodgers is because they have people from Japan already there. They can speak their language. You don't want to go into a foreign team like where no one speaks Japanese. And like you got to learn English. English is hard to learn. And you got to learn it all just so you could be on a mediocre team. Like really? No one wants to do that. It starts with one player. It starts with one player from Japan. Get the routes. Get the good relationships with teams over there. Start putting down money. Show players from Japan, we are here. We are competing for you. We want you to come here. We want the best talent. Come play for the Yankees. I know they know about us. Yankees are the biggest baseball team in the world. It's a fact. Yankees are the biggest baseball. The Dodgers might be making a rise now. They're starting to breathe down our necks, but the Yankees are the biggest baseball team in the world. People know about them. People hate on us. Them. Sorry, I'm not supposed to say us. People hate on them. They're just fine. Go ahead. I'm not losing sleep. But they're not losing. Yeah, whatever. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm not losing sleep when people make fun of the Yankees. I'm like, yeah, all right, where's your rings at? They're like, oh, you won rings so long ago. Yeah, but they're still on my fingers, aren't they? Yeah. Go check out my trophy case. Where's yours? Empty? Aw. Wah. You gonna cry me a river, too? And the Mets saying, oh, the Mets are big brother. Oh, really? The Mets are big brother? The Mets are big brother. Why do you keep taking all of our second-string players? Explain that. Carlos Rodon. Devin Williams. Have fun with him. Have fun with Devin Williams. He'll screw you guys over. I'll tell you that for sure. He's not, no bueno. You can keep Devin Williams. He's going to blow games for you left and right. I'll tell you that right now. We know from experience. Yeah. I don't know. Brian Cashman. Just do something. Like, it's not hard. Aaron Boone is fine. I'm fine with Aaron Boone staying. There's a lot of Aaron Boone haters out there. I'm fine with Aaron Boone staying. I mean, he's okay. He has to stop looking at the statistics, though. Start trusting your gut. That was my biggest thing. Look at the third game of the Red Sox, where you had Cam Schlittler in. You trusted your gut on that one, and it worked. Trust your gut more, bro. Don't put in Devin Williams. It's not rocket science. Dude, I don't know. But I think Judge, still in his prime. Cole, still in his prime. They're going to show up next year. They're going to show up. It's just who's going to show up with them. Who's going to be brought into this team. Who's going to be a difference maker. Who is talented enough to step up when the big dogs aren't swinging. Because baseball is a long season. There will be times where we stink. There will be times where Aaron Judge slumps. Bellinger slumps. Rice slumps. Grisham slumps. There's going to be times where that happens. Who's going to step up? Who is going to be the playmaker? I know who it's not going to be. It's not going to be Anthony Volpe. I'll tell you that. It ain't going to be Anthony Volpe. He ain't stepping up. He's sitting down. Dropping balls. That's what he's doing. All right, that is going to do it for me and lifting the trophy this week. I'll be back next week, 5 to 7, for the last show of the winter series. I might have a show in the spring. I might not. I don't know. It'll definitely be on all my social medias. If you would like to support me, lifting the trophy on all podcast forms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Blue, whatever. If you would like to follow that, it's Lifting the Trophy on YouTube too. I have a YouTube channel. Lifting the Trophy on TikTok, Instagram. I post clips on there. If you would like to follow that, that is available. You do not have to, obviously, but I appreciate anything that you guys can do. Thank you for all listeners. Thank you everyone who was on the live. I appreciate you all listening in. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Oh, I forgot to say, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas because I wasn't here last week. So yeah, have a good one, guys. Thanks.